All right, are we working today? Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? I know there's only like 5 people in here. So we may have a small group tonight. Hello, hello. I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay? Awesome. Now, if something happens and this freezes like yesterday, and yes, this is Casper, by the way. If this freezes, then it was a problem with my computer again, but I reformatted the computer today and it should be working good. I don't know why more people are not coming in though. But hey, we're here. So this is a Q&A. I'm still trying to get my stuff set up right here. Hey, Pamela. Hi, everybody. Yeah, Debbie's now here's the thing. Debbie's in the back. She's watching. I'm thinking maybe the next time we do one of these, we should have Debbie sit in as well. We could do it out there in the main room. What do you guys think of that? You think Debbie should be on a live stream, a live Q&A here? Hi, everybody. So yeah, I went live a couple minutes early. So, oh, look at everybody saying yes, yes. So Debbie's watching, so she'll see your comment. What are you doing, Casper? And some of you have asked about Casper, so I brought him out tonight. Last time, some of you were in a live with me. Casper here was going through an issue where he wasn't eating. And he went like 6 or 8 weeks without eating. And he made up for it because he ate like a little piglet about 5 days ago. So he's been digesting his food, but this is the first time I've had him out since he had the big meal. Yeah, he's big now. He'll probably scoot around so you guys can see him here, but I might have to take a break midway to put him back in his enclosure because he's only usually out for a few minutes. He looks fat. Yeah, he does look fat. So yeah, this is a Q&A. We'll go for an hour. We usually go for an hour. I do have the Panabox here. I was going to try something for patrons and even YouTube members, because we have some YouTube members here as well. I was thinking of running this Panabox on a live stream for a couple of hours, and you guys could tune in. I won't be there. I wouldn't even be in the room. So it would be like an experiment. I could put the Panabox on a live stream for you guys, and you guys could come in over the few hours that it's on and ask questions right from where you are and see if you guys get an answer from the Panabox. And it would be interesting to see if there's spirit replies coming through for you guys without me being in the room. So if anybody wants me to try that, I can also try that. I was thinking about trying that next week. Basically just a live stream of, are my chats still working? All right, it's still working. Okay, great. Yeah, because it's more of like, it would be like, because I always say it's our connection. So when I'm in here and I meditate and I focus and I get the connection and they start answering, that's awesome. But I wonder if that would happen long distance for anybody that maybe is watching and can focus and ask the question. It would be cool to see, right? And I wouldn't be in here or I wouldn't be watching it for the 4 hours either. So you guys would be able to comment and I would be able to look through those to see what came through for you guys. Yeah, so I might do that next week, and it'll be spanned over maybe 4 hours, so you could just come in at any time. I think that would be cool. Might even run it a little bit today and see if we can get anything a little later. Hello? Is anyone here? Something's causing interference. I think it's my light. So if I put it here by the mic, let's see. Hello? Is anyone here? We're live right now. Anyway, we'll try some of that later. So if you guys have any questions, there's Casper. He's peeking his head out. See? He's like, hey, he's chill like me. He's like super chill. So you guys are up for that then, the live stream of the box. That would be cool. I have Leanne has a blue-eyed leucistic Lucy with me tonight as well, and my 5 other ball pythons. Wow. You know, there was a time when I wanted to get a second one because I love this guy so much. He's so awesome. But then I was like, oh, that's another whole setup because I have them in I know some people keep them in rack systems or whatever you call it, but I have a big, nice terrarium. It would just be, there's no place for me to put a second one in my house. But yeah, I love ball pythons. All right, where are we at here? Josh Bacon. Hey, Josh from YouTube. I was wondering if you can contact my uncle Chris Homing. My eyes are so bad. Died this past Valentine's Day. See if he's okay. And why is this getting over bright now? Sorry for your loss, Josh. Valentine's Day. So it's been a few months. What we do is on group session night, which is coming up at the end of this month, you will, if you want to participate in that, basically you will follow the meditation video that I post for members, and then do that meditation before the group night session, before I start recording, I should say. So if I'm recording, say at 11 p.m. Eastern, you would want to get that meditation in, which will take you about 15, 20 minutes. You'd want to get that in at least an hour before I start. It could be any time that day. And then I would record the session, then post the session after review, which takes many, many hours. And then all of you watch it and see who came through. But that's how this works. I don't do one-on-one personal sessions. We do the group sessions every month. Works out better for for so many reasons that I've talked about. So yeah, group night is coming up. They're just like potato chips. You can't have just one. That's what everybody says. You know, I see so many people online or YouTube or, you know, even in reptile stores, and there's a lot, you know, you buy a ball python and most people just keep buying them. So yeah, I do, because there's so many different morphs and colors and types, so they're pretty cool. You often have, this is from Stacy Gao, you often have pets come through. How often does that happen to you? It hasn't happened very often. I think the only times that it has happened has been when I was focusing on that, right? So it happened with my own dog, Scrubby. It happened with a live caller during Paranormal Soup when I was on Paranormal Soup and we had the box running. The live caller wanted to know if her dog was with the spirits or in heaven. And right through the box, they verified they had the dog. It was amazing. And then one time I captured an EVP of a dog barking without thinking of a dog. And there might have been one more time where I had, maybe 2 more times where I had validation of my old dog, Scrubby. So it all goes, in my experience, it all goes by what you're focusing on. That's why I say when you do a session, you should have an intent, a reason for why you're doing the session. Maybe someone specific you want to contact or try to reach or get a question answered, stuff like that. But pets do come through. They have come through. Hello from Kentucky, Savannah. How is it in Kentucky? Is it super hot and humid there still, or is it cooled down? My sister just moved to a part of Tennessee, which I think borders Kentucky, and it's been really hot and humid there. Hi from Norway. Oh, Norway's awesome. Hello. Iceland. Iceland's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I've said before, I've been to Iceland once. It was beautiful. It's like anybody who lives there, you are lucky because it is just beautiful there. Cold, but beautiful. I guess they don't call it Iceland for nothing. Question, here we go. From Leanne Nicholson. If I try to make contact with a loved one and do not have success via meditation and using one channel like Necrophonic, how frequently should I keep trying to make that contact? That's a great question. And in my experience, I have found that contacting loved ones, and I don't like our own loved ones, I'll use my father as an example. It is very hard. Like, I've received his name probably 100 times where they said, Oli's here. Or when I ask who's here, somebody will say Oli. But I've never been able to contact, besides once, long ago when I first started, I have not been able to contact where I can talk to him or hear messages from him. It seems like somebody else always relays the message. Like in the last video where they said Dad, Oli with Mom. Now that could have been him using the device to come through and piecing that together. It could have been another spirit. It's hard to say, but it's really hard to connect with our own loved ones. And I'm not sure why that is. It's really strange, but all you can do is keep trying, right? You want to keep trying. You want to focus, meditate, and you might have success. You might not. It's really interesting. An experiment you can do also is to try to connect with someone else, maybe someone even that you don't know, right? And see if you have any luck with that. And if you do, then keep trying for your own loved one. Would you consider doing one-on-one sessions? I get asked that often, and I'm just not, still at this point in time, I'm not comfortable because I couldn't do them for free due to time. Because if I said, oh, I'm doing one-on-one sessions for free, I'd have 1,000 people writing me for wanting to do a session, and that would be physically impossible for me. And if I charged, I feel bad because if I don't get a connection to your loved one, I would feel awful for charging for that. So that's why I don't, and that's why I do the group sessions at a minimal cost. It's $5. Anybody who wants to try, you could try for 1 month, you could try for 3. And we've had a lot of success. We've had some amazing success with group nights, with images, with messages and validations, but it's not a guarantee that you can connect to someone every time. I've tried connecting to people and have not been able to. And those are the things you guys don't see because I don't post that. I just post the communication aspect of it. So yeah, that's why I don't do personal sessions. It's just a me thing, really. I could do them and I would probably get some great results with half at least, but the half that I couldn't connect with, I would just feel bad. Tavia. I had a good friend of mine commit suicide last Monday. That's awful. I hope he comes through when you turn that on later. What's the best way for me to get him to come through for me on a download app? If you haven't watched my video, it was 2 videos ago, 10 tips. Highly suggest you watch that. That pretty much has everything in it on how to use the apps and how to the correct techniques. So that's what I would do. Watch that video. I would go on for 20 minutes here to talk about it. So yeah, watch that video if you did not see it. But spirits can use apps just as effectively as a radio. And I'm going to go put him back in his enclosure. Not that he's being restless, but he was resting in his warm side of the cage, still digesting his big meal from the other day. So I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to go put him back in his enclosure real quick. But I did want to, he's like hooked in my shirt. Hey, Caspi. Watch, he'll bite me for the first time ever live. No, he doesn't bite. So I'm going to go put him back and I'll be right back. I'll put on the radio while I'm gone. Hold on.
have a good.
All right, I'm back. This light is weird. It should be set and not changed. All right, so Casper's back in his enclosure. If anyone else has any questions, where are we at here? I'm looking at the comments. Hey, Candy. My youngest son is a senior this year. He has to do a report or essay on something that interests him. He picks spirits. That's awesome. I think I saw your post. You posted it to the Patreon page. So if anybody, there's a post in the community section on my Patreon page from Candy. I think you posted it in the community section. And she had a question for all of you guys, actually. So that's awesome, though. He knows you're into it because you go to all the locations, Candy. So he's like surrounded by it, I imagine. That's awesome, though. That's really cool to do a report on that. I bet you not many kids do reports on that. So that'd be really cool. It's still super hot here, Kentucky. Ready for fall. Yeah, I am too. Hey, Mike. Had some technical difficulties just like I did last night. Last night, my computer was just like, first you guys couldn't hear the audio and then the computer froze up. And then this morning I updated. I'm like, maybe my laptop needs an update. It's a Mac. And so I did the update and then it bricked it. I wouldn't even start up. So then I did some troubleshooting. I was able to boot it up in a different mode. I forgot what it's called. Not a safe mode. It's something like a safe mode on Windows. And then I reformatted and reinstalled the operating system. And now it seems to be running fine. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. Patrick Swayze coming soon. Yeah, I've been wanting to do a Patrick Swayze session for probably a year. And then I get onto other things and then I kind of put that on the back burner. But I have been thinking about it. So I probably will be doing one. I would say definitely this month. So by the end of the month is my goal. So yeah, for some reason, for a while, I've been kind of like something inside is like, you need to do a session for Patrick Swayze. When I get that, I usually do the session. So I will do one. Candy, it took a while for my grandpa to come through. Don't give up. Yeah, it can take a while. And again, we don't know the reasons for the complexities or we don't know the reasons as to why sometimes we can get a connection with a specific spirit and sometimes we can't. There's something going on there that we don't know about. Mike, I would like to know if my ears are ringing. Could this be a sign? Oh, Angela, I would like to know if my ears are, could this be a sign? It's funny you say that. A lot of people who do this work or focus on it, even if you don't practice it or use the apps or devices or do any of that, but you're thinking of it, right? Or you're aware of it and you believe in it. A lot of people, and as well, if you do ITC as well, do get a ringing. Debbie's gotten it. I get it often, and it's usually my left ear. I think hers is her left ear. So it'll be interesting if yours is your left ear. I think there's totally something to it. A lot of people think that as well. There's no scientific evidence, of course, to back that up. But it's something that happens to a lot of people who are open to spirit connections and communication. Pamela Messman, I asked for my mom last time and my girlfriend Joyce came through. She said she's asking for someone else. Yeah, I remember that actually. Ezekiel, love what you do. Keep it up. I'm new at ITC. Any tips for a beginner? I have a little fear of it, but I want to know if there's a way to get rid of that fear and let in the light. Non-believer. So you're a non-believer. Am I getting this right? But you're here on my Patreon and you love what I do, but you don't believe in it. It's real. It's very real. And in order to have success with ITC, You must believe. If you're a hardcore skeptic took this little Panabox home, set it up on a stool as I sometimes do, put a video camera on it, recorded for 15 minutes and asked 5 to 10 questions. Chances are they would get nothing but radio because they don't believe. I find belief is an important aspect of how this works because, as I said before, in my experience, and I say that because my experience may not be everyone else's experience. In my experience, spirits use us to speak. They connect with us. They attach to us. I probably have an attachment 3/4 of the year of I have one right now. And I'll tell you guys something. Last night, yesterday the live didn't work. We had the glitches. Was out in the living room with Debbie. Last night, it was probably around 8 o'clock. I started feeling a spiritual mini attack of some sort. And instead of, getting worried about it like I did before when I went to the hospital, I went into the back bedroom, I laid down, and I meditated and I focused while this electrical surge was just pounding my body. And I wasn't allowing fear in because I knew if I panicked that it would get worse, right? Because it's my belief that any evil spirit feeds off of that energy. Now, I don't know what was attached to me or what was happening, but it was pretty horrific. It is when it happens. But I laid there in bed and I envisioned a white light blanket, right, going over my entire body. I envisioned love, light. I was praying. I was talking to God. I was telling whatever was attached to me that they were not welcome if they were going to be doing that to me. I was setting boundaries. I wasn't yelling. I was speaking nicely, trying to coax this spirit out. And I saw some really strange things when I was envisioning the blanket. I'll talk about those another time. But after about a half hour, I didn't even realize it, but I fell asleep. And then Debbie came to bed later and I woke up and moved and I had a peaceful night's sleep. And today I'm fine. But I don't really know what was going on, but it was the same exact feeling, the chest tightness, the chest pain, this electrical surge, especially in my upper torso. Like, imagine you're sticking your finger in a socket for 2 seconds and then you're pulling it out. Then you're pushing it in. That's what it feels like. And it's pretty crazy because you have no control over it. But anyway, this was something I went on to from Ezekiel's post saying he's a non-believer. You have to believe in it 100% in order to get results from it. That's my belief. And if you didn't see it, watch the 10 tips video I posted a week or so ago. And it has 10 things in it that I use every time. So it gives you the tips and the techniques that I use. And maybe you will have success with it as well. But fear, it's really hard to get rid of fear. It took me years and years and years. And what happened to me last night, when it happened before, I panicked. And I was thinking for sure I was a goner. Went to the hospital. They checked me in, admitted me because my blood pressure was through the roof. And it's normally normal. And they said there was something with my heart going on. Last night, I was able to calm whatever it was down by focusing on the light, not being afraid of it, and doing the envisioning technique. And it worked for me, but still, I did not like that. Did not like that at all. And that hasn't happened since the last time, which was 2 years ago now. So I don't know what prompted that at all. All right, where are we at? Okay, I would like to know, are the ears ringing? Got that one. Okay, now I'm caught up here. Did I miss that Q&A for spirits? I had asked if we could ask questions for spirits. This Q&A is just a Q&A with me and you guys. I don't do live sessions for the 12 reasons I've mentioned a million times. I could sit here and run this for 10 minutes, which I will, but we might not hear anything. But if you guys play the video back, go back and watch it again, that's when you'll probably hear. So doing live streams for paranormal and ITC, I feel are a waste of time. I think they're silly. I think they're gimmicky. I think it's nonsense. Not to say anything against those of you who do it. I never watch a live stream because I know you're not going to be productive with a live ITC stream. And if you watch my 10 tips video, you'll see why that is. It's a process. It's focus. It's meditation. It's envisioning. It's reviewing the recording afterwards in order to hear what the spirits are saying. If you watch my videos, you'd see half of the times a spirit comes in, I don't talk back because I didn't hear it in real time. I heard something, but it sounded like gibberish or nothing to me. And I know when I play it back is when I will hear what was said. So that's why I don't do live sessions. But the Q&A is you ask me anything. You could ask me any question you want. If I have an answer, I'll give it to you. But I will run this here the last few minutes. We'll do an experiment. And I am going to do that live 4-hour stream next week with just this. I won't be in the room. And you guys can tune in and ask questions, right? Because I don't think there's a barrier. We know there's no barrier of distance. Because when Josh and I did that live together, we had the same spirit come through. He's in Florida, I'm in Arizona. And it came through instantly, right? Like seconds later came through mine, just as Michael did through his. So you guys might be able to watch the Panabox running, ask a question from where you are, focus on that question, and you might hear an answer. But the cool thing will be is what I'll do is I'll probably have to break it down in the segments, but I'll take that video after it's all been done live and I'll listen to it for the first time on my computer and I'll break it down into like half-hour segments or something to see what came in, and it could be fun. So yeah, but that's what Q&A is. Candy, if anyone is interested in helping my son out with his report he has to do for high school, I put a post up on the Patreon page with more info. Yeah, awesome. So check that out. And let me see if I can fix this overexposure. It bugs me. All right. If you see a large woman in your home, it's Joyce. She bathes in your light. You will know if she's around. She comes through a lot on your sessions. I've had the large woman come in a couple times, or I've seen this woman, which you probably know because I say that in the group sessions when that happens. Hey, Kevin. Love me some Patrick Swayze. Yeah, session. I will be doing that. Angela, are there any stories you have that blew your mind lately with an answer or even confirmation? I think the biggest one, and it's not recent, is the image of Diego for Maria, who's a patron, the full body apparition image. That blew my mind, and I have not been able to recreate that. That's another thing with this work. You can have like an amazing session, right? Where it's just everything you hear is a spirit and they're answering you. And then you could go the next day and get nothing. Same with the images. It's so hard. I've tried so many times to recreate that image by capturing another full body apparition, and I have not been able to. So for whatever reason, at that moment in time, Diego, that spirit, decided I'm going to show myself and somehow had the energy to do it. Now, Diego had come through quite a few times for Maria in the group sessions. So he was probably wanting that ultimate validation. So that blew my mind. The Bible oil blew my mind and still blows my mind. I still can't wrap my head around it. Those were all a few months ago. Recently, it's not been, anything crazy. It's the typical sessions. I haven't done any celebrity things, though I've been getting a lot of requests to do Beth Chapman. I just don't think I'm going to do a session for Beth Chapman, but I will Patrick Swayze. I'm pushed to do Patrick Swayze. Are spirits stubborn and just refuse to be heard? I don't think so. That's from Stacy. I think that they say it's very hard to do, and some spirits need the help of our guides to do it. Like our guides either help them or relay messages. They always talk about the power, right? And what they mean by that is energy. They're talking about energy. And if they don't have the energy, they will suck it from us. And I get drained an awful lot doing these sessions, and they'll even say, if I put my hand, they'll mention power or energy, and that's what they feed off of. So if they don't have the energy, or maybe they don't know, many have said they don't know how to use the devices while they're coming through. And I'm like, you're doing it. So I believe that some spirits have to learn how to use these devices. And that could explain why, if I take the portal, for example, to a hotspot where many teams have investigated, it's boom, always works amazing. I never have a problem on locations because I feel spirits that hang out might know how to use these devices. They know kind of how it works. Whereas if you just took it to, down the street at a park, I'd probably get results, but you have a less chance of that, right? Because you might have spirits who don't know how to use. So I don't think spirits are stubborn. I just think it's hard for them to do that, to talk. It's very hard for them to talk. Laura Hines, my parents recently passed away. Kenneth and Yvonne Holmes, I would love to connect with them. I'm so sorry. I can't. Losing parents is very tough, very tough. My dad passed in 2000, so it's been a long time, but almost 20 years. Wow. But it's never easy. If you participate in the group night later this month, you might get a validation. Just make sure, as I said earlier, you might not have been in the room to do that meditation and visualization exercise that I post for all members, whether you're YouTube or Patreon now. If you do that meditation session, then you're taking part, and then you just wait till I post the video that I have to review, which takes, I'd say, depending on the length, anywhere from 6 to 12 hours for me to review the session. But yeah, make sure you participate in the session this month. I posted the calendar on Patreon and on YouTube. Chris Gable, do you ever hear spirit without any devices? Yes, that happens actually. Funny story, not funny, but an interesting story is when I first started doing this, I was so into it, right? I swear I did sessions every day. I do it in my old office, and I'd be running, whether it was a Sangean radio or what else was I using back then? Probably one of the first apps or whatever I was using. And after about 3-4 weeks of almost daily sessions, and I had no problems, evil spirits at that point, I would start hearing them with my ear, like as if someone was in the room. And it would either be a 1 or 2 word phrase, never long. It would always be like an elevated whisper, like Steve, like that kind of tone. And I thought I was going crazy. And when it first happened, I'm like, I'm nuts. I can't tell anybody that I'm hearing voices. They'll think I'm schizophrenic. And I'm like, maybe I am schizophrenic. And I didn't really talk about it too much. So I'm sitting in my office one day, and I've told this little story before. And Debbie came in the old office, and I was in a chair here. She was in a chair here. And right in between us, I hear something. What did she say? It was like, hey, guys, or something like that. And I was like, oh, I just heard. And then I look over at Debbie, and her eyes are like, she's like, did you hear that? And I'm like, what did you hear? She's like, a woman saying, hey. And I'm like, you heard it too. I'm not crazy. So yeah. And then after that, another time I was laying in bed by myself. This was before Debbie moved in, and I was watching TV. I turned off the TV, turned off the lights, put my head down. This was in the beginning too, and I was doing sessions every day. Right in my ear, a deep male voice said, Steve, wake up. And I jumped up. I turned on the TV because back in those days when I was new to it, it freaked me out. And I remember, I think I was texting Debbie. She was in Chicago, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't sleep. So after that, we would hear them. My son heard the voices as well. One time we heard voices in my office, British accents, no less, a man and a woman talking. And my son and I look at each other, and I'm like, do you hear that? He's like, yeah, it's 2 British accents. I'm like, exactly. So I ran in there with a recorder, a video camera, and I'm like, we hear you. Who's here? And when we played it back, there was an answer to us in the same accents. And that video was on my old channel because I used to have another channel called Spirit Box EVP. And I took it down after it hit like 5,000 subscribers or something, because I decided I'm not going to pursue ITC at that time. It freaked me out in the beginning. But then as it kept happening, occasionally on a rare occasion, I remember setting boundaries to the spirits. I'm like, because they would used to shake our bed, and Debbie has experienced that as well. Brandon's experienced it as well. They used to rock the bed so slowly at night because they wanted me to get up and turn on a device because they want to talk. And one day I walked around the room after it happened for like the fifth or sixth time, and I said, we're setting boundaries, right? No more shaking the bed, because that means I cannot get a good night's sleep. If I cannot get a good night's sleep, I can't effectively help you guys communicate. And I had this big talk with them, and I talked to them about talking in my ear. And ever since that night when I did that, it stopped. I think it's happened maybe once or twice since then, very minimally, but it wasn't a big deal. Not the bed, but the hearing them. So yes, you can hear them. And I think it's related to the more you do this. If I were to still turn on my box every day and record and spend hours a day, it kind of heightens you become more open, I think. More spirits come in, and the more spirits that come in, some might have more energy than others. And maybe those with the super strong energy are able to be heard in the room if you're open to it, if you're sensitive enough, and they trust you or whatever, So yeah, that does happen. So thanks for that question. Sorry for the long answer. Ezekiel. Okay, I'm not religious is what I meant. Yeah, I'm not religious either. You hear me talk of God, the light, heaven, hell. I am not religious. I have no religion. I've never been religious in my life. I'm not baptized to anything. I'm not Catholic. My mother's Catholic. My sister's Catholic. They were baptized. But as a kid, I didn't buy into the whole religion thing for some weird reason, when I shouldn't have even known anything about it. But I just didn't buy into it. It always felt off to me. So I never was religious. So I'm spiritual, right? And I'm highly spiritual these days because of this work and what I've experienced. What I know for me personally, and I'm not saying you guys have to believe this, is I believe now for sure, without question, there is a creator, there is a God, but I don't see God as most people do. I see God as the source of love, the universe itself. I feel, and I've recorded, when we die, we go to this source of light. We are made of light, and we use this body as a physical shell, right? Kind of like a vehicle to get through this life. And it's almost like this life on Earth is kind of some kind of big experiment, if you really think about it. It's really, really interesting. But if you ever sit down and think deeply about it, or if I do that, it gets crazy, and I go through this like wormhole, and I start, thinking of all these possibilities. But I'm spiritual. I believe in God. I believe in angels. I believe in demons. I believe in hell, because I've recorded so many spirits that have said they were in hell. I've recorded spirits who said they've seen heaven. I've recorded evidence of spirits who said they've been to heaven, and they come back to leave a message, or somebody relays a message. I feel those who have crossed, I feel that our guides relay the messages. I've kind of seen some evidence of that. I can't say for sure. This is all just my brain talking of thoughts that I've collected over the years. So I'm not religious either. So you don't have to be religious to do this work. Just as you do it, let it forge its own path for you. Like, don't go in with any kind of preconceived notions. You don't have to be spiritual even. Just go in, and I think the spirits will start to show you and teach you. And over the long haul, that's what happened with me. It took years, but I am like such a different person today than I was 10 years ago. Today, I'm super calm. I try my best not to stress about things in life. Of course, I'm human. I do have little stresses here and there, like, oh, these bills and all this, but I always know that it always works out. So I've eliminated fear from my life, like with what happened last night to me, the little mini attack. I didn't fear it. I went, and I was like, okay. And my frame of thought was, and it sounds awful to say this, but my frame of thought was, if they're going to take me, take me. If not, let's see what's going on. Let's see why this is happening. And I don't think they have the ability to take someone, but I do feel that evil spirits have the ability to cause mental harm if you let it affect you. So yeah, you don't have to be religious. Do you think there are some people who pass that cannot come through to their loved ones? And if so, why? I do think that, and I don't know why. Like I said, I can try for person A and never get a response, but person B comes through easily. I could ask them, well, why is that? And I get no answer. I'm sure many of you have heard we're not supposed to know all the secrets of the afterlife. And it almost seems like they have rules where we are not supposed to know what's going on. And they can't talk or they don't know. I'm not really sure. But I do feel if a spirit is crossed over, it's much harder for them to come through. Not impossible because we've captured this. But as I said earlier, I think that guides and helpers kind of relay messages. I have guides that have been with me for years and they claim they help with the communication. While I don't know if I trust them all, Ed, Billy, right? They've always been a little sketchy. We don't know what's going on with them, but I will say that they do help with the communication. So yeah, those are things. I wish I had all the answers. I can only go by experience. So that's my experience. Excuse me. Harmony Rose, I want to know if it's possible if you could ask spirits more about the reptilian extraterrestrials from your latest video. I'd love to know more. It's a big breakthrough. Let me take a drink of water. Yeah, that was a weird moment in that session. And I've never really had anything like that come in. I believe I was using the SCD2. Now there's two ways to look at this. And I wrote an article at huffparanormal.com about it. And I mentioned this in the article. Also, if you guys aren't following me on Instagram yet, I'm on Instagram at Steve Huff Photo. It's an old one from my photo days, but I just keep it lumped. There's half of the people there are paranormal. And Debbie and I have been doing stories there. So yeah, we're going to be doing more of those, just our day-to-day stuff, what we're doing. So be sure to check me out on Instagram. But the alien thing, yeah, I was using SCD2, and there's two ways this could go. One, there's three ways it could go. One, I was using the SCD2. SCD2 scans radio. And when a spirit connects, you no longer hear the radio. You hear answers or messaging, right? Now, in all the years of doing this and using SCD1 and SCD2, I've never had anything come through that I remember about aliens or reptilians or any of that. And I'll even tell you guys another story that kind of backs up the whole alien thing. So I had that come in. It could have been coming through the radio. And I mistakenly, well, it could be a spirit or an alien, right? So I left it in because we don't know. It could have been radio. It could have been a spirit as well. It could have been an alien. The third thing it could be is somebody emailed me and said, I think you're not talking to spirits. I think you're talking to extraterrestrials and they're messing with you. And I was like, I believe anything is possible. I don't really believe that, but it's possible, right? But all my experience tells me it's not aliens that come through because they're always talking about being dead, being a spirit of the light. They're always talking about things we relate to with death, God, Jesus, heaven, hell, demons. I've been attacked, and the first major attack I had years ago, I saw what was attacking me. And it was not an alien. It wasn't a spirit either. I don't really know what it was. It was horrific looking. I guess I can't say not an alien because I don't know what an alien really looks like. But do I believe there's life on other planets? I absolutely do believe there's life on other planets. How could we be the only planet in the vast universe, right? In the vast universe, how could we be the only life form on one planet, right? There's no way. There's life. I believe there's life on other planets, but planets we can never get to or touch or have the capability to get to. That's my belief. But as far as the whole alien thing, I did a recording a couple nights ago, whatever my last video that I posted, the Spirit Answers My Question one. I did ask in that session about the reptilians and received no answer whatsoever. So I will keep trying to ask about that. And if something else comes through like that, then I will be way more intrigued and I will dig in a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see. All right, where am I here? I don't want to miss anybody. Chris Gable, that explains why they've been touching my feet at night. They can do that too. How can I find out who my archangel is? Shoot, I wish I had a link to post. There's a video I did maybe a year and a half ago. It was about connecting to the other side. Using those meditation and visualization methods is how I did it. And that's how a lot of people I know that have done it. Maybe I'll post something in Patreon here. I'll post a link to that video by tomorrow for anybody who's interested, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Okay, I missed some of these comments here. Do you need to rest afterward? How long does it take to recover? Sometimes I don't. There it is. It looks all bright again, and I don't understand why that's happening. See it? Now it's going to go dark. Because I have the camera set to manual, and I have all my settings locked in, so I don't know why it's fluctuating. Do you need to rest afterwards? And Chris asked, have you ever been so drained from sessions you've passed out? Now, passed out as in like I'm walking and all of a sudden I drop? No. But I've done a session or two many times where afterwards I go and sit on the couch and I'm instantly out like a light. And I just feel drained. There's times after sessions where I feel that something's not right with me or my body. I'm like, maybe there's something wrong. But anytime I go to the doctor and get things checked out, I'm fine. So yeah, it does drain you. I do usually rest afterwards, but not every time. It depends on the session. If I have a deep connection and we're getting like major answers and I go too long, I get really drained. Group nights, I'm drained every time. I think there's one exception. There was one group night just recently, and I remember ending and I was energized. And I told Debbie, oh my goodness, I feel all this energy and I don't know why. It's usually the opposite. But yeah, I do get drained quite often. And I'm not going to lie, I feel a little drained right now. And that could have been from last night's issue and what happened last night. I've been a little off all day, actually. I'm just reading comments so I don't miss any questions. Okay. Where are we at here? Okay, I'm caught up here. I think it's interesting, us having energetic bodies. I'm assuming we glow to the other world beings. I would think, I think so, because they always talk about our light. And I think I have a theory on that if you're a positive, happy, kind, good person, then your inner light is shining. If you're an awful, horrible human being, I think your light is very dim. Or even if you're in a bad mood or depressed, I think your light dims. There's been times when I would do a session and I was feeling a little sad about something, and I don't remember exactly what. And I remember getting a reply and they're like, your light is dim. And I was like, oh no, what do I do to get it back, right? And then I was thinking, I'm like, well, I've been kind of down a little bit. And as soon as I went back to normal, everything was fine. They were talking about the light. So if you go into a session and they talk about your light, that's a good thing. But I believe we're all made of light. Our soul is light, right? I probably missed my question being answered. What was your question? I'm sorry if I missed it, Eric. If you asked a question and I missed it, just ask again. Excuse me. Leanne asking about solving cold cases. Many have tried, right? And I think I could talk about it now because I don't think it's going to happen. But there was a show that was being filmed for, was it Travel Channel? Shoot, I don't know. And the woman who was doing the show, she was using a Wonder Box. She had a Geo Box as well. And her whole show idea was solving cold case crimes using Spirit Box technology. And I was supposed to be in the pilot, and I couldn't make it I had another obligation, which always sucks because this happened to me in October. I have an obligation in the first week of October, but I had to miss the Bel Air House event. I couldn't do it because of this business obligation. And then I had an invite to go to Germany for a camera company. I had to decline that because it was the same time. So the cold cases, she tried it. She filmed a whole few episodes, right? And I didn't see any of the footage, but I was told by George Brown, who makes the Geo Box, and this woman that they had amazing, rock solid validations. But when they produced these first 3 episodes, I guess they submitted the pilot to Travel, and Travel turned it down. And I have some experience with the Travel Channel, and I have an idea why that was turned down, but I won't get into that. But there are people who try, and I've tried. There's an old video. I'm talking maybe 5-6 years old. It's on my channel. And I'm using an old Andes box, a PRD 1000. That guy's no longer in ITC. But I was trying to connect with an officer who was shot, and it was a cold case. And they were giving me info. They gave me a name, I believe. They talked about the gunshots. They talked about what the police officer did. And that's a pretty cool video. I think I'm going to go find it and repost it to the members so you guys can check it out. It was a pretty cool video. I haven't seen it in years, so maybe my memory's off, but I remember it being pretty cool. So can it be done? I think it's possible. Is it easy? No, it's very, very hard. It's very hard to get such a connection where you're getting really useful answers. And I wish I knew why. We don't know all the answers. What's your opinion on this is from Savannah. What is your opinion on the PSB 11? Do you like it? I love it so far. I'm glad you like it. I hate that box. I hate it. But don't take my word for it. If you love it and it's working for you, that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. I think it was one of the first 20 made, right? The guy, I forgot his name, but he makes a lot. He makes the Mel meter and all that, the PSB 7. He sent it to me, and he called me on the phone, and he's, telling me, oh, well, here, I'm going to come out with upgrades to it later. But my copy of it, that first one, it sounded so harsh. It was harsher to me than the PSB 7, and I was getting better results with the 7, but he may have tweaked it and improved it. That's been many years. So if you're happy with it, that's awesome. That's all that matters. Maybe I'll have to revisit it, right? I'll take another look at it. Maybe it was improved, which over these years, he probably did, because he was telling me on the phone back then he was going to do improvements to it. Pamela, I heard a spirit. I was looking for something in my daughter's room, and the guy said, "What are you looking for?" I said, "Get out of my daughter's room, off limits." Yeah, isn't that weird how that can just happen? And I wonder if they know we can hear them when they do stuff like that. If they know before they speak, oh, she's going to hear me because I'm going to do this, right? Do they do something differently for us to hear them without any devices? I was trying to capture a photo of the space station. Did I miss something? All right, where am I at here? Oh, is Josh in here? Oh, hey, Josh. I didn't even know you were in here. I'm just catching up to the comments. Josh is here. Hope Paranormal. Be sure you check him out. He's on YouTube and Patreon. You guys already know that. The 26 of you in here. There's a total between YouTube and Patreon, 600 members, and we have 26 here. That's something, huh? Stitch Witch. I have an online talk radio show starting September 29th. Awesome. Congratulations. You, Josh, and ITC will be the topic of the first show. Thank you so much. It's a great topic, right? I can't talk about it enough. It's like I've been doing this for so long, and when I talk to somebody, like I'll go on these camera trips and they all know what I do, and they'll ask me, and I can sit there and talk for 2 hours about it to them. And I get excited about it, and they get the more I talk, their eyes get bigger and they get scared, and then they end up walking away. And some people I start to talk to about it and they're like, yeah, I gotta go, and they leave. They get scared. Chris Gable, no fear. That's right. No fear. That's what I tried last night, and it calmed it down much quicker than the last time. Excuse me. Ezekiel, maybe I should try my first session tonight. What do you think? If you're up to it, that's up to you. If you feel up to it and you're ready and you know that you're confident in it, you're not going to get scared, go. But be sure you watch that 10 tips video first. It might actually help out. You may have watched it already. I don't know. But if you didn't, be sure to check it out. There's a lot of useful information in there for doing this. Spirituality and religion are two different things. Exactly. I might be way behind here, and we're already coming up on the hour. That's right. Different guides for different situations. Yeah, we have multiple guides I'm discovering, or have discovered. It's happening because you are bringing love to our world in the afterlife. People who teach spread love have been attacked throughout history. You know, that's what I tell myself. If someone like me, an ordinary Joe, right, goes on YouTube, somehow has the knack to communicate with spirits most 80% of the time who are asking for help in the light. And, you know, sometimes I struggle with that because I'm like, well, maybe these spirits are not in the light for a reason, right? Maybe God didn't allow them into the light. And they're asking me for help. Maybe these are souls in a bad, bad place that some would call hell, whether you believe in it or not. Just go with me here for a minute. And maybe they're in this place and there's higher ups, right? Demons. We'll call them demons because that's what we know them as. That's what they call themselves. And if these demons catch wind of some schmo in the living world connecting with and trying to help these spirits get out of a place that they're in for a reason, I can see that for being a reason to attack me. I haven't been doing as much of the crossover lately, though, so I don't know why that happened last night. Another thing, as you said, if this darkness is anti-love, right? Darkness is anti-love, and darkness wants us to all hate and fight and be miserable. That's what darkness wants. And if there's a guy, me, out there pushing love, showing what spirits are saying, sticking with it through thick and thin, and always talking about the light and love and what I'm experiencing with this, that darkness is also going to be upset, right? Now, not all my videos get tons of views. I might have almost 1 million subscribers at YouTube, but most of those people don't watch the videos anymore for one reason or another because they've accumulated over these years. So let's just say I have, in reality, 100,000 subscribers that watch what I do, watch some of the videos, right? I do get videos that have 300,000-400,000 views, but that's more of a rarity. But if you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people and spreading love and positivity and kindness and respect and empathy and care and trust, this darkness is not going to like it. So that's another theory of why one can get attacked. But last night when that happened and I had zero fear, I got up, I walked in the bedroom, I laid down, I envisioned the blanket of white light going over me. And I'll tell the rest of the story another time. There's more to it. It took maybe, it took some time. And I was talking with the spirit that was attached to me. And I fell asleep. I woke up today and I feel a little off, but I don't feel that I have anything sticking to me at this moment. I just have a little bit of a headache and a little tired. But yeah, anytime someone's out there pushing love like that and sending that message of love, there's the opportunity for attack or evil not liking it. It makes sense. But at the same time, I rely on the protection. I've been told so many times I'm protected, and I'm still here after all these years, so I guess I am. So then there's the love side, the light side, who wants you to push that message. So the devil, we'll use the term devil just because, would hate me pushing love. But God, on the other hand, would like me to push love. So I feel that that's why they say I'm protected. If the day comes where they tell me I'm not protected, I'm in for some trouble maybe, but I still won't fear it because I don't fear death. Why? I don't know. It just happened. I don't fear it. So anyway, my long answers to your short questions. I'm sorry about that. Candy, I love the stories you've been adding to Facebook. Yeah, they're on my personal Facebook. Some of you are personal Facebook friends of mine. So those go to Instagram and Facebook at the same time. We'll be doing more of those. And I found a bunch of places in the state of Arizona that Debbie and I are going to start driving to. They're 3-4 hours away each one, but they'll make for some cool videos. So look for Debbie in some future videos as well. And I'm going to try to get her on the next live stream as well. She hears me because she's watching this. All right. Sneaky reptilians. Oh man, I missed a bunch. I'm so sorry, guys. And we're at the hour, but let me run this for a couple minutes before we close out. Now, we're going to do an experiment. Any of you watching, focus. If you want to hear a message or have a question, you don't even have to say it aloud. Focus on that question as this is running. And maybe some of you will get an answer. I don't know, because we've never tried this, right? There is some interference from something in here, so it's a little noisier than usual, but let's give it a try. I'm going to set it down by the mic, and I'm going to aim the mic at it. All right, spirits, the viewers are going to focus and possibly ask you some questions. If you can come through, feel free. I'm going to try to focus a little bit here. Starting, I heard that. Now, this is not intended to be a group session, but there's like a kid running in here with a Batman costume on, and he's pulling the cape out, and he's running around. I doubt that's relevant. It could be. That would be awesome. He's got a Batman costume on, like he's showing it to me. And it's like it's not a fancy one. It's like a cheap old school one. I don't know if that's a Halloween reference. Now I'm getting the energy. Come on through, spirits. Who's Batman? Is it cold? Who's Batman? It's really noisy tonight. Yeah, we'll have to do more of this. It'll be fun. And I'll do that experiment as well. Let's let it run for another minute. Seeing a heart earring right now. It's not huge, it's a little one. Gold. Might even have some kind of diamonds or zirconias on it. Don't know what that's about. Who's here? Peter? Did you just hear Peter? All right, we're going to shut this down. It's 3 minutes past the hour. Thank you, spirits, if you came through. I don't know why it's so noisy. Usually it's pretty quiet. I think there's something in this room interfering with it. But before we go, next week, I'm going to run a live stream for all members at Patreon and YouTube. And I'm just going to let this run, and I'll try to make sure it's quiet and get it to be quiet. And you guys can watch as much of it as you want and try to see if you can get an answer. I think that'll be a cool experiment. We have group night coming up in about a week, I think. Look at the calendar for that. I don't remember the exact date, but it's listed over there. And thanks again for joining me on a live Q&A stream. It's nice to see everybody here. So, yeah, we're going to close this out. Yeah, I thought I heard Corey in there. I heard Peter at the end, but I'd have to listen back to the video. Batman was Corey's favorite. Wait a minute. Eric, you know someone named Corey. We thought we heard Corey come through. At least I did. And you're saying Batman was Corey's favorite superhero. That is amazing. I'm getting chills right now. That could have been a validation for you if you know a Corey. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. That is awesome. Chills. Love you guys. Love is the key. I will see you next time. Bye.